All right, I'm gonna do something a little bit different in this video. I thought I would show you a game that I'm pretty confident you've never heard of. But this is a game, you know how we all have games that made us gamers? Like there was something that flicked that switch that took us from Chutes and Ladders and Monopoly to something a little deeper and strategic. And this game was the one that did it for me, all right? This is a Hanafuda deck. Hanafuda is Japanese. It means flower cards, all right? And I had to do some research on this because my grandfather taught me this game, and it never occurred to me that it was a real actual game. But when I went on Board Game Geek and checked out the Hanafuda page, it's sorely lacking in content, so I took it upon myself to maybe shine a light on this fabulous little game that you play with a Hanafuda deck, all right? And Hanafuda means flower cards. Oh, okay, first off, this is all word of mouth from my grandfather, so if I'm getting some of this wrong, you know, please forgive me, but this is just my knowledge of this game. Okay, and from what I can tell from online research, this deck of cards was created in Japan a couple hundred years ago, 1800s in the Edo period, right, when it was Tokugawa and shoguns and stuff like that. This is when this Hanafuda, these flower cards, were created, and they're these really thick cardboard cards that have this cool smacking sound when you play them. And the images, there's no words, there's just images, all right? And the images are all based around flowers of Japan. There are 12 different flowers representing the 12 months of the year. And these cards are full of deep symbolism and hidden pictures. They're very beautiful. They're very old. And if you're interested, I'm sure you could hop on the internet and learn a lot more than I know, all right? But the deck is called Hanafuda, and there's a bunch of different games you can play with this deck of cards, all right? And the one that I found the most was called Koi Koi, and I don't know how to play Koi Koi. The game I learned was not Koi Koi. The game I learned, I'm just gonna call it Hawaiian Hanafuda. I actually found a link to somebody else who plays with these rules, so I haven't imagined this game, and I'll put it in the linky bits. I'll put that in there if you're interested in this and maybe learning a little more about it. But this is kind of Hawaiian style Hanafuda, okay? And my grandfather, who was Hawaiian, he called this game Sakura, which means cherry blossoms. And that's one of the cards, one of the most powerful cards in this game, involves the cherry blossoms, the sakura, all right? So let me show you. This is such a fabulous, fun, strategic game. Plays great for 2, 3, or 4. I think you can go higher, but those are kind of the magic numbers. And it takes this little deck of cards. There's no dice or anything like that. It's kind of a matching, trick-taking. If you play with 4s, you could play teams, so it's sort of bridge-like. It's a really fun game, all right? A really fun, simple, strategic game that I think deserves, you know, its time in the light. So this is the traditional Hanafuda deck, these little black cardboard cards, all right? And when I was a little girl, I remember getting tucked into bed at my grandparents' house, and you know when you close your eyes and you can still feel the ocean, you know that feeling? And I would hear my parents and my grandparents out in the living room playing this game and laughing and groaning and the smack of the cards as they hit the table. And when I was old enough, I got to join in, all right? And I took this little deck with me to college, believe it or not, and I taught my roommates, and we would stay up all night having massive Hawaiian Hanafuda tournament play. It's just a game that just sucks you in. Sucks you in. So stick with me here. Stick with me. I'm gonna give you a little background, a little history, and then I'll see if I can't get my kid or my husband or somebody to sit down and play a game for me, so you can see how this game plays, and if you're interested. The first question I know you're going to ask me is, okay, Chrissy, this is great and all, but I'm not going to Japan anytime soon. Where can I find these cards? Okay, first off, if you go to Hawaii, They're everywhere, okay? Hidden treasure of Hawaii. You go to Ala Moana, the big shopping center in Waikiki, you know what I'm talking about? In there, there's a department store called Shirakia's, okay? It's like a Japanese Macy's. Go up to any counter and say, do you have Hanafuda cards? And they'll look at you like you're a crazy white person, but trust me, you can get your hands on these. They're not very expensive, all right? I don't know, 10 bucks maybe? They're all over the place in Hawaii. You can buy traditional, which are these kind of slappy ones that I prefer to play with, all right? You can get, again, I'm pretty sure I picked these up in Hawaii. I didn't realize how many decks I had until I went to film this video. So this is a playing deck that has the Hanafuda symbols, the flower cards built into it, all right? So it's a regular old deck of cards you can use for your poker or whatever, but in them, all right, is a Hanafuda deck. Very practical, very handy, probably cheaper than these guys, but you don't get that same feel of smacking the cards down. So, you know, maybe I'd let my kids play with these. The images aren't just pretty either, okay? But this is an option you can find. All right. What else can you find? Okay. Also in Hawaii, I found this. Somebody took the Hanafuda and turned it into a Hawaii flower card game. So they switched out all of the Japanese flowers and replaced them with Hawaiian flowers. The plumerias, the bird of paradise, the hibiscus, right? And they did it in also these tile form. This is kind of a cool take on it. Not the original, but pretty. Pretty, nice to have in your collection. But my favorite deck, and I think I got this on Kickstarter and it's still available. I checked for you guys. modernhanafuda.net. These cards are so beautiful. You ever want to take cards and like mount them on your wall? Is that too geeky? Should I not say that? These cards are so gorgeous. I actually don't play with them. I just gaze at them. All right. And she reimagined the Hanafuda cards and redesigned them. So this is the pine trees set, and I'll explain how it all works. But you can see how she made kind of a picture out of them, right, with the stork. These are just so amazingly beautiful. Just so beautiful. These are, I just want to, like I said, I just want to hang these on my walls. Let me see if I can find you. My favorite is the phoenix. Oh, where's the phoenix? Oh, here it is. Oh, and the full moon. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's just gaze at these for a while. Look at this. How beautiful. Wait, let me find you in my right order. How beautiful is that? These are all sets you can make in the game, right? And the fact that she made them so, oh, here's the phoenix, sort of to tie into each other just makes it that much easier to see which cards match. It's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. It's like art. It's art that is a game. Just gorgeous. Love this set. It doesn't have the same feel as the little smacky traditional tiles, but wowzer bajowzers. That's just lovely. Just lovely. Stunningly beautiful. So that's, it's called Modern Hanafuda. I'll put her link as well if you're interested in ordering it. This was a Kickstarter I got years ago. Love it. Love it. Okay, so, oh, this is the other thing she did, which was so nice. She gave you little reference cards, right? So she tells you for the month of April, and then there's like little Japanese figures. The suit is wisteria. That's the name of this flower. And then she tells you which ones are in the suit. So we have April. May, it's the irises. June, it's the peonies. July is clover. August is grass. September, chrysanthemums. Just beautiful, beautiful. So pretty. Nice reference cards when you're learning how to play too. Being able to see how the set goes together. Very nice. So, let me show you how to play this game. I'm going to set up, just for space purposes, I'm going to use these guys because they're littler. And I'm going to lay all of these tile cards out for you. All right? I'm going to lay them out in their suits because when you see them grouped, it's much easier to explain how the game plays. And then, you know me, I'll go through my think out loud strategy like I normally do. Maybe you can learn a very neat, old, but still in vogue Hanafuda game. So let me lay these out for you. All right, so here they are, laid out by month. All right, remember there's 12 flower sets representing the 12 months. I don't have them in order because I actually don't know which flower goes with which month, and you don't have to play this game. But just sort of, you know, for your history lesson, all these flowers represent a different month, and there's symbolism and meaning and stuff like that. But I'm in it for the game. I'm in it for the game. And I would recommend when you teach somebody how to play this game that this is how you start. Lay out all of your tile cards and group them by flower type. It just helps you see the sets and how these cards sort of click together. All right. Looks daunting, but there is actually a pattern happening here. You'll see I've grouped them into 3 different groups that have a pattern, and then this 4th. These are sort of the oddballs. All right. All these cards, these 3 months, sort of run their own rules. They all have their separate rules. But these 3 groups, okay, they play the same. The same rules sort of apply to all of these. So once you understand one group, it's very intuitive what's going to happen in the next groups. All right. So each flower set is made up of 4 cards. All right. Let's look at the peonies up here. 4 cards. And the first thing you'll notice is that 2 of them are sort of plainer than the others, I guess I would call it, okay? My grandpa will call these the junk cards. They don't score you any points in the game. At the end of the game, if you have any of the sort of plainer base cards, they won't score you any points. Every set of flowers has 2 of these base cards that won't score you any points in the game. All right, you see them when I pull them out here? Okay, so what good are they? Remember, in this game, you're trying to match suits, right? You're trying to match flowers. So the other 2 cards that are left, these are your point cards, all right? The banner cards are going to be worth 10 points, with some exceptions. The banners are 10. Purple banners are 10. Red banners are 10. Red banners with writing on them, also 10. Okay. What I think of as the character cards, these are sort of the cards that have the background flower plus a little extra. These are, for the most part, worth 5. All right, so this row is 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. And the junk cards, the background flower cards, their purpose is they can capture a point card. All right, so these 2 would match. If this little birdie was on the table and I had this in my hand, I could match it and take that trick. Same with the banner. I can match it and I can take that trick. So these have a function, all right? They don't have points, but they have a function. Now at the same time, the banner and the bird will match each other. So you could take that as a trick. So if you have these 2 cards in your hand, forget this one. Use the banner to capture the bird, all right? Because these 2 are points. This one's not, okay? So that's the first rule for this game. Every flower suit has 4 cards. 2 of them are not worth any points. 2 of them are. And all 4 match each other. So when you're playing cards and you're trying to take a trick, these cards will capture each other. All right. And you're looking at sort of this base background flower. It's going to reappear in all of the cards. So that's what you're looking for. That's how you find your flower sets, is with this background card. Okay. So that's face value points, right? 0s, 5s, and 10s. But there's more to this game than just background points, all right? And the way you win this game is by making what is called a Yaku. I believe it's spelled Y-A-K-U, Yaku. And a Yaku will cause everyone else at the table to lose 50 points. How do you make a Yaku? Very simple. Yakus are formed by crossing sets. Okay? So let me break these back up into groups of 3. And this one open here, and this one open here. And I'll show you my little trick for remembering how to form yakus. Okay. The easiest yaku to see is the purple banners. All right. So if you manage to capture all 3 purple banners, you will form the purple banner yaku. You're going to score the banners 10, 20, 30. You get 30 points, everyone else gets a minus 50. All right. And these banners, these purple banners, they require 1 of each flower in this group. Do you see that? All right. I have 1 chrysanthemum, 1 autumn leaves, and 1 peony. All right. Likewise, and you'll probably see this coming, this is a yaku as well. It's the character yaku from this flower group. Right? Chrysanthemum, autumn flowers, peony. This one's going to score you a little less. Remember, this will be 5, 10, 15 points to you, but still minus 50 for everybody. And that's true for both of these. The red banner yaku, the red banner with writing is a yaku, and the character cards within this little flower set and the character cards within this little flower set, they're all yakus. All right. So how do you remember these character groups? Well, for the banners, it's pretty easy, right? You don't even have to pay attention to what's on the background. But the way I like to remember them, okay, this is sort of what I think of as the ground cover group, okay? Red berries, purple berries, and these bulb irises. These are sort of flowers on the ground. That's how I categorize them. These are more traditional, straight up what I think of as just normal flowers, right? The chrysanthemums and the leaves and the peonies. They're the next flower group. And the last one I think of as sort of things that grow on trees, because this set involves trees. All right? Pine trees, this is the sakura, the cherry blossoms. Oh, what is this one? I don't remember what this one is. But you could see the tree branches behind it. Trees, flowers, ground cover. And if you can remember those designations, you'll be able to remember which 3 make your yaku for the character cards. All right, those are the hard ones to remember, those character cards. Okay, so that's the yakus for that group. There are 6 yakus total, the 3 banners and the 3 characters. So remember I said that these guys kind of play by different rules? Yeah, they do. All right, and this is where it gets just a little bit tricky. Okay? The first group I think of as the phoenix group. Okay? And it has these little star flowers. And for some reason, one of the biggest mistakes all new players make is they try to match this star flower card with this purple berry card. And I can see why, right? Those are pretty similar, but they don't. They don't, okay? So this card can't capture these, and this card will not capture these. These are 2 totally separate, keep them apart groups, all right? That's a common mistake right there. And this group here doesn't make a yaku. This group is only for its points. And because of that, it's worth a little more points. These 2 are still junk. These have no points, okay? But this yellow is worth 10, like a banner, and the phoenix is worth 20, all right? So these aren't going to get you a yaku. All these will do is get you points. So they kind of stand alone, all right? Same with this set. In this set, the confusion comes in for some reason with the pine trees. They look similar, and people try and either grab the pine trees with this, which you can't do. The other thing they'll try to do is use this in the banner yaku. Not going to happen, right? Banner yaku comes from ground flowers. Whatever this is, not a ground flower, all right? So this is just a 10-point banner, doesn't form a yaku. This is a 5-point bird, doesn't form a yaku. 5-point man, again, no yakus, all right? Straight up points. Hello. Weird looking card, right? Okay, so I don't know if you can see or not. There's kind of lightning streaks on the back of this card. And it was called the Gaji. And my grandpa called him the policeman, because the Gaji is a wild card. if you have the gaji in your hand, you can take any card you want. You don't have to match it. Whatever you see on the table, you can gaji it. You can arrest it. Okay? Only this card is only worth 5 points. Doesn't make a yaku. But if it's in your hand, you play it like a wild card. So the policeman, he's your friend. He's your friend. The last group is the moon. All right. This is a cool one. Sometimes I hear this called the bozu. I think that's slang for like an old bald man, which I guess is what the full moon looks like. But the full moon is a very powerful card in this game. And again, we have 2 blanks. We have the character for 5, and the full moon, he's not worth 10. He's worth 20, like the phoenix. All right. But unlike the phoenix, the full moon and these flying geese will make a yaku. And these are the 2 yakus you have to memorize, all right? The rest of these you can kind of logic out, but these 2 you have to memorize. And this is how I was taught them. The first card you need is this one. Drinking sake. See that little teapot full of sake down there? Yep. We're going to drink sake. We're going to drink it under the full moon while smelling the flowers. All right. This is a yaku. Drinking sake under the full moon, smelling the flowers. All right. So this sakura blossom is very powerful, right? Because you can form a yaku with it here, plus a yaku with it here. It's minus 100. Same with the sake, right? I can form a yaku here. I can form a yaku here. All right. So these are good cards to get your little mitts on if you can. So that's the yaku with the moon. The second yaku you can form is with the birds. All right. And it's these birds. It's the matching moon birds. It's not this bird. It's not that bird. It's the moon birds. All right. It's the moon birds plus the reindeer, basically all the other animals that you can find that aren't birds, plus the piggy, the animal yaku. All right. Only this bird. All the other birds, ignore them. They don't count. Butterflies don't count either. They're not animals. They're insects. Sorry, butterflies. Reindeer, wild birds, wild boar. That's the second yaku. All right. That's the other yaku that doesn't come out of this nice little layup. What else? What else is there? Ah, the last thing I have to tell you. A few of these cards, you know how I said for the most part characters are 5, banners are 10? Well, now it's time to learn that sometimes I lie to you. I know. But I've only lied to you about 2 things, these 2 cards. All right. The stork, I guess it's what, long life and prosperity or something like that. I'm not sure what the symbolism is. He's worth 20 points. Just because that's how we play the game. And the sakura blossoms, they're also worth 20 points. All right. So poor little birdie down here, he's still worth 5. I don't know why he didn't get picked, but these 2 are 20. So your 20-point cards are Sakura, the crane, Bozu, and the phoenix. All right. And that's the game. That's the game. I know it sounds crazy confusing, and you're thinking, what's the game, Chrissy? All you've shown me is a bunch of cards. Okay, so now I guess I should say, those are the cards. Gameplay is beyond simple. All right. This is the hard part. Remembering these combos, figuring out how you're going to play to run up these yakus, and more importantly, figuring out how you're going to break your opponent. You got to watch them. What are they going for? Because if they are going for the banners, you only have to snag 1 to break them. It goes the other way. If you're going for the flower characters, your opponent only has to secure 1 to break you. All right? So this is a game where you watch your opponent. All of the cards are face up, so it's very clear what you're going for. It's very clear what they're going for. So you can play very aggressively in this game, which is a lot of fun. So let me set up really quick and show you just a little bit how gameplay works with these beautiful Hanafuda cards.